Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. You definitely wouldn't want to spend a weekend with people like this. More details in our first story. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I rented a fake apartment and accidentally got pro-revenge. So this happened a long time ago. It was November 2009, and I was jamming to I Got a Feelin' by the Black Eyed Peas looking for a cheap apartment. I find a great ad in Craigslist and arrange for a viewing. I meet the landlady, a portly shrew with a Betty Page haircut. I wasn't here for the company, however, but for the cheap room. It's not great looking, but it's cheap, so I tell her I'm interested, and she tells me the place is mine if I can get a deposit by the end of the day. Sweet. I run to the bank, grab the $450 I needed, half month's rent. She and I cross-sign a standard lease, and I ask when I can get a key for move-in. She says a couple days as the current tenant has yet to collect all their stuff. So I'm sleeping on the couch at a buddy's pad for now, so I just chill, seeing the sights, enjoying the first few weeks in the new city. A couple days roll by, and I haven't heard from the landlady, so I get frustrated and leave a few salty voicemails. But alas, I was ghosted. Finally, she leaves me a voicemail and says she's sorry, but she can't rent the place to me. So I start to get angry. But I'm a pretty cool customer, so I do the research and find out my rights in an unfamiliar new municipality. I discover that if someone backs out of a lease without legal reasons, the other party is entitled to double the deposit they placed, so I figure she owes me about 900 clams. I leave more messages and emails, again with the ghosting, not answering the phone, no responses via email either. I get fed up. Now, I had just accepted a new job, but it didn't start until the turn of the month. I would guess it's about the third week of November 2009. I had some spare time, so I hopped on the bus, bought a magazine, and sat at the bus stop across from the rental house and waited. And waited some more. For a couple hours I waited. But man, oh man, was it worth it. I see her showing the unit to another smart mark. I hold my cool, wait for her to finish with her newest renter, and make my way over to the house to confront her. As soon as she sees me, she starts to wail about how the tenant changed their mind, blah, 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 and that's why she couldn't rent to me. I've heard enough. I square my stance directly opposite this clearly upset charlatan. Now you listen to me. You'll get me $900 as required by law by the end of the day, or I will go directly to the police station and let them deal with you. She turned white. For a minute, I thought she was going to puke on the ground right there in front of me. She says, "Hold on, I'll get you your money." I just remember thinking, crap, that was easier than I thought. She goes upstairs. The unit was a basement unit in the house she was living in, and I crap you not, hands me a wad of cash and says, "Here, this is ruining Christmas, but here." She almost pushed me off balance as she jammed the messy wad of cash into me. "Thank you. Good day," I say, and take the money, count it, and walk away. I didn't turn around, I didn't look back. I got on the first bus that stopped nearby, heading back toward the direction of my friend's house. Not until I was home did I calm down and realize it was going to be a sweet Christmas, all thanks to a lying, phony cheapskate. However, this isn't the end of the revenge. About a week later, I get a call from a friend asking me if the lady in the news is the same crazy lady I got the double damage deposit from. I was like, what? Sure enough, it turns out this lady was running the same scam in parallel with a bunch of other victims. I'm mortified, not just because I almost got scammed, but it immediately occurs to me that the money I got was someone else's money, and they're homeless for the holidays. I head right down to the police station, where there is, I crap you not, a line of crying people filing reports about being scammed by this woman. I feel awful. And when it's my turn, I get to the intake officer and start to give my story. I lay it all down, how I fell for it, how I left a snotty voicemail, how I staked out the rental to confront her, my demand of double the money back, my threats of legal action against her, and finally, the skillful execution of the law by getting double the deposit back. I tell the cop I took some of the money that belonged to the other victims, and she looks at me and says, "Man, you were the only one smart enough to confront her in a reasonable way. You earned that money, don't worry about it." A young lady who was now homeless and desperate couldn't help but overhear, and as I was leaving the police station, she approached me and said, "Hey, did you get your money back from that bee?" To which I sheepishly reply, "Actually, I got double my deposit from her when I threatened her with the police." The girl blinked a couple times, finally grinned, started a slow clap, and announced to the other victim, still waiting to give a statement in the lobby of the police station, "This guy took her for double the damage deposit." I cringed. But then, in the most unexpected turn of events, the line of victims began applauding. I suppose with the realization that while their money was gone, someone had really screwed her back. And that made them happy. They cheered, I felt better, the cops laughed, and we all, there had to be 20 people in all, had a joyful cosmic moment of holiday schadenfreude at her expense. I left the police station with a clean conscience and a smile on my face and enjoyed every last penny of that worthless bee's nasty stack. And our next story. Theft isn't victimless. And yes, I did take it personally. This was about 2 years ago while I was living at my buddy's place. His place wasn't in the best part of town, so theft happens all the time, and for the large part, most of these crimes are met with a sucks to be you attitude from the police, who then create a report and forget anything happened entirely. Okay, so I wake up early on Thursday morning with a call from my roommate who was running to work at 5 a.m., and he explains the detached garage had been broken into. The thief broke in through the window and stole a bunch of stuff, with highlights being Milwaukee drills, motorcycle jackets, and the receiver and sub from one of those surround sound systems in a box package deals, but leaves the speakers around the rest of the place. Saying I was livid is an understatement. I work hard for my things and have no intention of replacing them so some jerk can sell them for a very small profit. So for roughly the next 4 days, my focus is entirely on this, and you'll see why shortly. So I know the chances are slim that I'll ever find my stuff, but hey, it can't hurt to look for it on the common online sales places. I used eBay searching local sellers only. I put alerts on Craigslist, an extremely handy feature, and tell my roommate to keep an eye on Craigslist since he has a little time. So fast forward to Friday. My roommate calls me up and tells me he thinks he found our stuff on Craigslist. I pull up the ad, and sure as crap, there it is. This beautiful, not too bright gentleman had taken all the stuff he took from us and put it into a single ad in the barter section of Craigslist. He even added the model numbers, not serial numbers, making things very easy to identify. The giveaway was this cheap surround sound system for which he had only the receiver and the sub, and after a quick search reveals this particular system is only sold as a package. You can't buy the single components. So this was definitely our stuff. I called the police thinking case closed, but guess what? They don't care that I found this stuff on Craigslist, and after about 20 minutes of complaining on the phone with non-emergency, they ask me what they want them to do. I say, send a car over here. I want to speak with someone directly. So they reluctantly send a car with a very nice officer. She was nice. I'm sarcastic, but she really was nice. Anyway, she runs the number associated with the Craigslist ad, and guess what? He's got a rap sheet a mile long and has been arrested like 10 times for theft. With the break in the case, I think I'm home free. But nope, the cop can't do anything. The investigator needs to take care of this, she says, and leaves. So I call the investigator who doesn't work on Fridays. I ask who I can speak with so they can send me a message up the investigator's team line, to which no one answers at all. I try again on Saturday and learn investigators don't work weekends at all, and I'd have to wait till Monday before I could talk to my investigator. Good thing crime doesn't happen on weekends. Otherwise, cop weekends would be in trouble. So I call on Monday and Sergeant Drags His Feet is out sick. It was at that point I was done trying to call them. I drove to the police station and demanded to speak with an investigator. I mentioned to this new investigator the situation and the name of the guy who was in the Craigslist ad, and the cop knows him very well and has arrested him on a couple of occasions. The cop is confident the police can now help me since I've already done all the dang work here. Finally, the cops tell me to make a meeting with this guy and let him know when and where. So again, the work's on me. And to meet this guy. Thanks, police. So I text him a few times with no response, then I call him and joke around and express interest in a variety of items, most of which are mine, but a few that aren't. Since simply asking for the things from one of the victims is suspicious in my mind, so I tell him I'm Christmas shopping. I then say I'm from out of the area and ask him to pick the location. He lists off a few places, one of which is a grocery store within eyesight of the police station, so I pick that and laugh to myself at how this is turning out. I call the cops, let them know the deal is on and when and where it is. They say they'll be in an unmarked car and that I should take my wallet out as a sign to swoop in and make the arrest. So I pull into the parking lot. I see no cops. I stop and wait. I think the guy's a no-show when he finally shows 10 minutes late. My heart's pounding at this point. I get out, meet the mastermind criminal, and shake his hand. He proceeds to pull out my stereo, then my drills, and a few other odds and ends. And before I can get my wallet out, a gold Taurus speeds in, and out pops 3 cops with guns drawn and cuff the guy. When this happened, I just turned around and walked away for a second while they put him in the car. The lead cop asks me if this is my stuff, and I say yes. It matches with the previously provided, very detailed description I gave the police. All the while, the guy in cuffs is yelling, "That's my stuff!" Finally, the cops get the warrant for his apartment, find the rest of all of our stuff and a few other people's things, and I have all my stuff back by Wednesday, the following week. He received 1.5 years in a state penitentiary for his efforts. I kind of fixate sometimes, and he got unlucky by stealing from someone who didn't just claim renter's insurance. Advice: record the serial numbers on everything you own. Cell phone, computer, TV, router, stereo, etc. If you can give that to the police, you have a stronger chance of getting your stuff back. Pawn shops need to report all serial numbers that come through. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.